Yes.
So, did you get any information related with our detailed syllabus? Did you inquire from your college, Buddhist and Pali college?
No, basically Bhante is busy and he's not taking class, so we cannot confirm anything.
Okay. So let us start our, as per the syllabus I am going to discuss. I also tried to talk with him on WhatsApp. I made a twice call, but it was not possible for him to respond. So I could not discuss that what are the detailed syllabus. He is still in Sri Lanka. He can procure the detailed syllabus from there also. But anyhow, let me try again in the next week. If I get it, then I will let you know.
Okay.
So we are going to start our, in general, you can say, the philosophical views at the time of the Buddha. And if you remember in the beginning also, in the last semester, we had discussed about the what were the 6 contemporary teachers at the time of the Buddha also. So today we are also going to discuss that what are the philosophical views at the time of the Buddha. So then we'll come to the main Buddhist schools of the thought and how there is a development of Buddhist school of thoughts from the first Buddhist council to second Buddhist council and third Buddhist council. As we are aware that there were 18 schools at the time of King Asoka, or in the third Buddhist council, which was held in 251 BC. So 18 schools of the thoughts are available as per our textual evidences. In Mahavans also, we are having the references that how the 18 schools were divided into Asthavirvad and Mahasanghikas. So we'll come to later on, but as per our evidences available in our Pali text, we'll discuss about the philosophical views at the time of the Buddha also, which were prevalent at that time. If you go through the Brahmajala Sutta of the Dikha Nikaya, you will find that there are 62 types of false views. They are known as Michhaditti, or in Sanskrit it is called as a Mithya Drishti. So these 62 types of views were prevalent before Buddha became enlightened. And what were the 62 types of views? They have been discussed in a very detailed manner in Brahmajala Sutta. First of all, Brahmajala Sutta discusses about the Chul Seal, Majhim Seal, and Mahasil. And after that, it discusses about the 62 types of Michhaditti or false views. And they have mainly divided into 2 parts, that is the eternalism and annihilationism. Eternalism means Sasvatavad, that world is eternal, and annihilationism means that Uchchedavad. So mainly 2 schools were prevalent at the before the Buddha got enlightenment or Siddhartha got enlightenment. So Brahmajala Sutta discusses about all these things in a very detailed manner. So we'll discuss in a very brief manner about the philosophical views. What are the philosophical views which were developed or which were prevalent at the time of the Buddha? And if you go through all the philosophical views, there were only 2 types of views at the time of the Buddha that we call as Sraman tradition and Brahman traditions. or Sramanic traditions or Brahmanic traditions. There are differences of the Sramanic tradition and the Brahmanic traditions. In Brahmanic traditions, people think that there is a Almighty God. Everything is determined, predetermined, and what the things are coming into day-to-day life, it is already determined. But the servant traditions thinks that only on the basis of the actions, they all things are being divided, and there is no creator. In seven traditions, there is no any Almighty God. Everything is dependent on some cause and conditions, hetu and the pratyaya. And this Sraman traditions were belonging to only the common people, and Brahman traditions belonging to the Brahmanas at the time during the Vedic period or later Vedic periods. So these are the two main traditions available before the Buddha, that is the Sraman traditions and Brahman traditions. Sraman traditions consist of only Buddhism and Jainism, and others they were belonging to the Brahman traditions. Or it is also called as a Vedic traditions, since they were followers of the four Vedas, later Upanishad and other Brahmanas, which were composed later on by Acharyas. So these, let us discuss in a very brief manner what are the 62 types of views which are available in our Dekhinikaya Brahmajala Sutta, and it discusses in a very detailed manner, and it also discusses about the Paribrajakas, that is the wandering ascetics at the time of the Buddha also. And we are having references of that, how some of the Paribrajakas who approached to the Buddha and they were converted to our Buddhist Sangha also. So there were some wandering teachers at that time also. So the Parivrajak, we are having the references like this. So later on in Samaya Phalasutta, we are having the references of the six contemporary teachers. But some of these ascetics and their philosophical positions are discussed in Samaya Phalasutta. We had also discussed in our last semester, last year classes. But here also, since we are going to discuss about the philosophical views at the time of the Buddha, it is necessary to discuss all these philosophical views which are available in Brahmajala Sutta as well as in Samayapala Sutta. So, Brahmajala Sutta gives the description of the 62 types of views which have been divided into eternalism, that all things are eternal, that is the Saswat, it does not change itself. And even if you go through the traditions that our soul, Atma, in our Brahman traditions or Vedic traditions, does not destroyed, but it changes it. And we have seen that how in Gita there is a verse that Nanam Chindanti, Nanam Dahti Pavaka, na Chainam Kalinitapo, na Susaiti Marita. That this soul or the our Atma, it is eternal. The weapons cannot cut it, water cannot drench it, air cannot make it dry, and fire cannot burn it. So it has been said that this our Atma is, our soul is also eternal. So these are some of the things related with the soul. And there is a concept of it, annihilationism, that is the Uchchedavad. All things are destroyed. Even some of the thinkers which who have been discussed in the Samaya Phalu Sutta, they are of the opinion that our whole body is made up of, the human personality is made up of five elements: Prithvi, Jal, Vayu, Agni, and Akash. And after death of a person, all these are being destroyed or annihilated. There is nothing remains like this. In Charvak philosophy also, it is said that all these five elements are destroyed. So there are two types of mainly thinkers, and even in Buddhism, there are 10 types of unanswerable questions, which are known as Das Abhyakat Pahyo, which were put to the Buddha, and Buddha did not answer these 10 questions. Das Abhyakat, that is none which was not answered by the Buddha. And it is that sasato lokotiva, asato lokotiva, anantava lokotiva, ananta lokotiva, tam jivam, tam sariram, ayam jivam, ayam sariram, hoti tathagato param marnativa, hoti tathagato no param marnativa, hoti chana hoti tathagato param marnativa. So like these, there were 10 questions which were put by the followers or by the common people to the Buddha, and Buddha did not answer these questions. If you summarize these 10 questions, 10 unanswerable questions, we will find that these 10 questions are divided into two parts, that is the eternalism, Saswatavad, and annihilationism, that is the Uchchedavad. So these are the views which are discussed in the Brahmajala Sutta also. And these are the 62 types of false views. Buddha did not answer these questions, thus abhyakatapahiyam, since these questions are not going to solve the problem of a mankind, and these are not going to serve a purpose of getting a state of eternal bliss, that is the nirvana. So that is why Buddha asked that these questions are not answerable. These are not going to make any benefit in getting a state of eternal bliss. So Buddha attended them with a probing mind. Buddha says that all things can be investigated through reasoning and the logic. Buddha also says in the Mahapadipana Sutta that whatever you get the things, you do not accept it as it is, whether it is coming from the tradition, custom, or by hearsay, by your teachers, you just investigate it, that whether these are available in our text, available in Sutta, Vinaya, or Abhidhamma. If these are available, you accept it, or otherwise you reject it. So Buddha always applied his uh, method of reasoning and logic in answering the questions and in solving the problems. So here the metaphysics of the our mind or related with the mind and body, it is changed from since the Buddha came here, and eternalism became a counter question of that. And it is said that if each and everything in the world, be it living or non-living things, changes continuously, nothing can be said eternal. So Buddha says that if each and everything in this world, be it living or non-living, jiv or ajiv, it changes continuously because everything is changing continuously. It is not, and there is no any eternal. Whatever Buddha says that sabbe sankhara anicca, all things are subject to impermanence. Here, that whatever the things which have taken birth, they have to destroyed. So this is nothing is called as eternal. So Buddha, first of all, he took it eternalism first of all. That how he has to counteract with this eternalism. So eternalism, as we have discussed, in Pali it is called as Sasatavad. In Sanskrit it is called as Sasotavad. Saswat means that is the eternal. It is not being destroyed by anyone. So eternalism accepts the unchanging or eternal character of the soul of the world. This is the Saswatavad, that there is a eternal character of the soul. Soul does not die. We have seen in the Gita that how it has been said that Vansansi Jirnani Vastrani, whenever our clothes are become old, when they have become torn also, we leave it and take it new clothes ourselves. In the same way, when body becomes old and all the our organs or the parts of the body becomes old, then the soul takes another body. So some people practice meditation to such a level that they could retrieve the memoirs of the past lives. So through the smriti or through the practice of sadhana, people were remembering the past lives also. They were miraculous power through which people were coming to know about their past lives. Based upon these such retrieval theory, it is said that soul and the world are eternal. In Pali also we have seen that sasato lokotiva, asato lokotiva, the world is eternal, the world is not eternal, anantavati loko, anantavati loko, the world is finite, the world is not finite. Tam jivam, tam sariram. Body and the soul are the different, and tam jivam, tam sariram. Body and the soul are the same. So these four types of discussions are how they are being counteracted by the Buddha also. So Sraman and Brahman believed in partial soul or partial entity, that is the of the soul and the world. And Saman and Brahman also, after a certain period of time, they were saying that only the deities of the Abhaswar realm remain, who dwell in their own mental as well as non-mental state of the space. So this is the partial eternalism, unsaswat saswatvad. So this is the discussion which I doing. But after certain period of time, these deities start falling from their realm to the other realm called Brahmaloka. And from Brahmaloka, it came to the Rupaloka and Arupaloka also. So these have been discussed, and here the physical bodies are mortal, but their existence as such is eternal. Again, the body functions are non-eternal, but consciousness beyond through which they function is eternal. So they are of the opinion that this body is not eternal, but only the beyond which is inside of a person in the form of a soul, it is eternal. So this is called as Anantavad. Now there is a philosophical thought which developed, and it was known as Anantavad. There is no end and there is no finite. So this is school of thought that there is no antavati loko, anantavati loko. The world is finite, the world is not finite. This type of it has been also discussed in the false views of the Michhaditti, which has been discussed in the Brahmajala Sutta. So Anantavad says that the world is either finite or infinite, or both, or else either finite or infinite. In Pali, it has been said, Antavati Loko, Anantavati Loko. So this type of thought, which was known as Anantavad. There is another, the ground of such type of opinion is the variety of meditative experience by those people and their variety of experiences which are not perfect or complete in them makes them formulate a variety of these type of thoughts or theses. There was another school of thought which was called as Amara BhikkhePavad, which this thought is also available in the six contemporary teachers. Available, the discussion of these teachers are available in the Samaya Phal Sutta. But in Brahmajala Sutta also, this Amara BhikkhePavad, the thought which thinks that this is also true or this is also not true. Where there is a doubt, there is neither doubt. This type of thought was also prevalent at that time. And there are people who equate about virtue and vice also. They were thinking about the virtue, that is the seal, and vice, just opposite of that also. So they do not give a specific answer to the questions posed to them. Whenever the questions were asked to them, they were said that this is also true and this is also true. When they are asked in negative, then they were also saying that this is also true. So there is a rising of doubt, kankha, or sansay, which developed in a form of a school or thought or vada. This is called as Amarabhikhepa. The name of the teacher of this school is available in our Samaya Phalasutta as a Sanjay Belathiputta, and even T.W. Rhys Davids says that this Amara Bhikkhepa, the people do not give a specific answer to the questions. Any questions they are being asked. On questions about virtue or any vice, they say right, wrong, they fail to give the different answers that this is okay. Or on the questions of the afterlife, that what happens after the death. So some of the thinkers are of the opinion that neither there is anything after death nor accept anything clearly. So whether this after death anyone takes birth or not, they also become silent on this point. So according to Saman and Brahman traditions, the soul, Atma, and the world have originated without any specific cause. Buddhism here believes that everything comes into existence dependent on some cause and condition. So here, the soul and the world have originated without any specific cause. This is called as Aditya Samutpannavad. There was another school of thought which is called as Aditya Samutpannavad. So there is another school which has been discussed in the Michhaditti of Brahmajala Sutta, that is the fish views. they are called as Aprant Kalpik. Aprant Kalpik, according to this thought, the people who believe or hold views about the other end of the soul and the world. So this is called as Aprant. There is no end or there is no finite. And they say that about the other end of the soul. And after the death of a person, there is another end of the soul and the world also. So this they also believe or hold views about the soul and the world, that is the At and the Lok. Soul remains self-conscious, that is called as Atmasayi or Atmasangiya, that those remains with the self-conscious. So there are 16 varieties of this type of thought or views based upon the different combinations of attributes of the soul in that state. So in a brief manner, Brahmajala Sutta also discusses all these thoughts or 16 kinds of varieties which are advocating the Atmasayi, that is the self-conscious, and how soul remains with the self-conscious, it has been discussed. So here soul is not self-conscious, but there are 8 types of views upon which another combinations of attributes have been given. So there are others who believe that soul is neither self-conscious nor not self-conscious, and form further 8 varieties of the views. So this is the another, you can say, Aprant. They believe also 7 types of nihilistic views or positions. They are called as Uchchedavad. We have discussed that how there are thoughts which were discussing or advocating eternalism, that is the Sasvatvad. In Pali, it is called as Sasvatvad. Now, what is Uchchedavad and what are the 7 schools which have been discussed in our Brahmajala Sutta of Dekha Nikaya? They are advocating the position of nihilistic views. They are known as Uchchedavad. So this Uchchedavad says that the soul is constituted of 4 elements, Mahabhut, and takes pleasure physical form being born of parents. So they are of the opinion, according to Chedavad, that these 4 elements, namely earth, water, fire, and air, they come into existence with the combination of the mother and father, that is the parents, and they come in a form of personality of a being. So upon the destruction of the body, when the person dies, the soul is also annihilated. So this type of thought is according to Uchchedavad. So the soul is not destroyed upon death of the body, but remains for some time in the subtle form and in the subtle divine worlds, that is the Kama Avcharlok. According to one of the 7 schools of thought of belonging to Uchchedavad, it is said that one school also thinks that the soul is not destroyed after the death of the body, but remains for some time in the subtle form and in subtle divine worlds also. That is the Kamaushara. In Tibetan Buddhism also, there are views that people, when die, they do not go with the death body for the last rites and rituals immediately. they wait for 2 days or 72 hours so that if the soul wishes to come out again, then person can be alive also. So after 72 hours, people go to for the last rites of the death ritual. So here also in Uchedabad, there is not Uchedabad, one school thinks that this after the death of the person, this soul remains for in a subtle form for some time, and it remains in the Kamachar Loka. So the soul which stays in the divine world is different from the one experienced during the bodily existence also. And according to Chedvad, it is said that the soul which goes after the destruction, it is different than the when it was with a body in a personality form of a being. The other views of this Chedvad is that soul, after annihilation of all consciousness, due to not contemplating anything, receives the form of unlimited space, that is the Akasa in Chaitan. So we are also having Arupa Loka. Till there is a one thought which thinks that after the death of the person, the soul remains in a subtle form and it remains in a Kamausa form. But here it is in the Akasa and Chaitan. It remains in the vacuum, that is the Akasa, for some time, unlimited space, you can say. Again, there is a soul in that state occupies the form of pure consciousness that is called as beyond in Chaitana. Again, there are other views. They are thinking that the soul transcends the state of pure consciousness, that is the beyond in Chaitana, and it goes a state which is called as Akinchaitan and dwells in the neither pure consciousness or nor consciousness, that is the Neo Sanya, Na Sanya Aitana. So this type of thinking is also available. So what is the concept of Nirvana according to Chedavad and this Sasvatavad or in our seven traditions? So some Sraman and Brahman believe that the soul attains liberation in the same life. But the soul is involved in the enjoyment of five senses, that is the Kama Guna, and gets liberation afterward. So there is one thought like this. Again, the other persons or others thought are of the opinion that the soul cannot get liberated by enjoyment, since all enjoyments are temporary and always come with suffering as they are perishable in nature. If you go through the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, you will also find that Buddha says that Dvame anta pavjitena na sabitabba, that, O monks, two extremes cannot be followed by a person who have renounced the household life and have taken a life of recluse. And these two extremes are Kamesu Kams Kullikan Yogo. So here this is the Kamagun. So here the soul cannot get liberated by enjoyment, since enjoyment are temporary and always come with suffering as they are perishable. So Buddha does not allow or does not encourage the persons to get associated with the pleasure being experienced by our five senses. Another further, the soul gets detached from these enjoyments. The detachment is also described as first meditation and attains liberations. So there are stages of attainment of liberation also. So appearances which are experiences due to contemplation and thought, in you will see that there are five stages we had also discussed. that is the Pratham Jhan, Dutiya Jhan, Tatiya Jhan, Chaturtha Jhan, Pancham Jhan, in a different manner. That is the Vitak Vichar, Piti, Sukha, Ekta Sahitam, Pratham Jhanam, Vichar, Piti, Sukha, Ekta Sahitam, Dutiya Jhanam, Piti, Sukha, Ekta Sahitam, Tatiya Jhanam, Sukha, Ekta Sahitam, Chaturtha Jhanam, Upekha, Ekagata Sahitam, Pancham Jhanam. So these were the 5 stages of the Rupa Jhan, which were developed by the Buddha for getting a state of eternal bliss. So this Vitakka and Vichar get annihilated. And if you remember, the teachers of Buddha were Alar and Kalam. And this Vitakka and Vichar meditations, it was given to the Buddha by Alar and Kalam. Alar Kalam and Uddakaram Putta, they were the teachers who gave the teachings related with the yoga meditation. And from there, he enhanced to Arupavachara and Nev Sanya, Nasanya, Aitana, or Vyan. So in that way, Buddha got in a stage which is not as called as Nirodha Samapatti. So this soul, having attained aforesaid concentration, attains delight after developing detachment to the delight even as which are described, which for getting a state of eternal bliss, that is the Nibbana. So they are of the opinion that the soul attains a higher level of this passion and awareness, that is the upekkha, and attains liberation. This is called as a fourth meditation. And then we are having the 6 contemporary teachers. So these have been Sasvatavad, eternalism, and Uchedavad, and Helicism. These have been discussed in detailed manner, or they have been divided into 2-3 groups. How 62 types of views related with eternalism and annihilationism, they have been discussed in our Brahmajala Sutta. So we'll discuss now that who are the 6 contemporary teachers at the time of the Buddha. These teachers were also giving their discourses before the advent of the Buddha also, because these schools of the thoughts were coming before the Buddha came. And people are thinking that it might be 100, 200 years before those teachers are preaching their views or philosophical thoughts to the common people. And in Milinda Pahyo also, we are having the references of the 6 contemporary teachers like Puranakasappa, Makhali Gosala, Makudakachayan, Ajit Keskambali, Sanjay Bilatiputta, and Niganthanath Putta. Milinda Pahyo is a text of 1st century AD. So after 6th century BC, in which Buddha took birth, these 6 schools of thought were also continuing till 1st century AD, till the composition of Milinda Pahyo. So before the Buddha, these schools of the thoughts were coming. And Pakutkachan, Nigathanath Putta, who is known as Lord Mahavir, he was senior than our Buddha, Siddhartha Gautam, and he passed away when Buddha was alive. We do not find any references that both of them, Lord Mahavir and Lord Buddha, might have met together. Those who were preaching in the Magadha region, but we do not find any references which are giving the any line of thought that whether they have met together. So we do not get it. So let us discuss in a very brief manner about the 6 contemporary teachers. First is the Purana Kassapa was the last person to come in that school of thought, and that is why his name was given Purana. Purana means that is the full, and Kassap is the lineage or Gotra, among which this school of thought was developed. And according to Purana Kassapa, it is said that there is no any harm in causing pain to others, killing other creatures, stealing, robbery, adultery, telling the lies. There is no any sin in these acts also. If a man kills a large number of animals or humans, makes a heap of flesh, he will earn no sin. So this is the view of Purana Kassapa. And he says that there is no any uh, punya or punya merits for giving charity to other people also, because it is not going to earn you anyway. So if any person conducts charity or alms giving at a large scale on the bank of the river Ganga, or performs lengthy yagya or oblation or religious rituals, he will earn no merit. So this is the view, and it was the school of Puran Kassapa. It was known as Akriyavad. Or means not Kriyavad means action. So the thought which it discusses about the no any fruit of the bad actions and the good actions. So this is the, you can say, Purana Kassapa. Then second is the Makhali Gosal. Makhali Gosal, the name which has been discussed in the commentary of Dekhanikaya, which gives information that why it is called as Makhali Gosal. Since he was belonging to the persons who were having the herds of the cows, Gosala, Go Makhali Gosal. And Makhali, he was using the blanket. And this blanket, schools of thought were developed as a Makhali Gosal. And this Makhali Gosal, according to this school, that the suffering of the creatures has no any reason. They experience pain without any reason. Similarly, there is no any reason of for a way of getting a state of eternal bliss or nirvana. Even if creatures get liberated from suffering, they get liberated without any cause or conditions. They do not believe in the theory of that is the conditionality or hetu or the pratyay or law of dependent origination. They say that neither they can make efforts for their own liberation nor can they help others. So any kind of effort which is being done by a person or any endeavor is futile in getting liberations. So there is no any efforts you have to make. All human beings are helpless according to this school, which has been discussed in the Makhali Gosala, and they travel through different lives, different births in human form or in other creatures form. Life it is ghost or on the earth, in the heaven also, or in the hell also. So there is no any good conduct. There is no any austerity or making penance, or there is no celibacy that purifies or refines human action according to this school. So there is no need of doing good conduct. So the happiness and the sorrows of each creatures are already fixed and measured. This is called as niyativad, that whatever it is fated or whatever it is determined, it will happen. So this is called as this school does not believe in any, you can say, cause and conditions. This is called as a hetu bad. A hetukvad means the school which does not believe in any cause. So there is no any causal explanation of suffering or happiness. Third school is called as Ajit Keskambali. So according to Ajit Keskambali school, so charity, religious sacrifices have no any worth. Human actions do not yield any sin or any, you can say, merit. There is no any afterlife or existence of the deities. There is no such enlightened persons who can actually tell about the truth of this world or the after the world. So according to Ajit Kansali, he believes that there is no any fruit of any bad actions or the good actions. This human body is constituted of four Mahabhutas, namely Pathvi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo, and all the bhut go back to their own source after the death. Means the earth goes to the earth, fire goes to the fire, water goes to the water, and this uh, air goes to the air. So, like this, these four Mahabhut, after the destruction of the body, goes to their respective places. And according to this is Ajit Keskambal thought, the views of all those scholars or panditas who proclaim the existence of afterlife or heavenly worlds are quite trivial and merely their propaganda as nothing remains after death. According to Ajit Keskambali, that after the death, the four elements are destroyed and they go to their respective states, and there is no any things which remains after death. This view is also called as Uchchedvad or annihilationism, which has been also discussed as the seventh school of thought in the Brahmajal Sutta. The next teacher is Pakudkachayana. Pakudkachayan is one of the six contemporary teachers, and according to this, there are seven entities, normally, namely Pathvi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo, and then Sukha, Dukha, and Jiva. There are seven. Pathvi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo, earth, water, fire, and air. And then Sukh, happiness, Dukh, suffering, and this last is called as Jiva, that is the individual self. In another sense, we can say about the a permanent entity, that is the soul, which are uncaused, akat, or akrit, and undestructible, which cannot be destroyed. These seven elements are not destroyed. These are aesthetic and undergo no change or deformations. They do not influence each other also. But they are not going to influence each other. So in this world, there is none who can be called offender or offended, or a killer or killed one, listener or speaker, knower and the preacher. If a person kills someone with a very sharp weapon, then he does not kill or cause harm to others, according to this Pakudkachayan. As a sharpest of blade cannot penetrate any of the bhut, because these four bhutas, namely Pathvi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo, and then Sukha, Dukha, and Jiva, they cannot get any feeling or pain, and they whenever a sharpest or sharpened blade is penetrated, then does only fall in the space, because the whole seven elements are making a, you can say, place which is vacuum and maybe very narrow or invisible. It is not visible. This view is also known as Akritvad, or everything is uncaused and eternal, also known as eternalism. So in Brahmajala Sutta also, this had been, the Trivad has been discussed in. Next is the Nigantanath Putta. Nigantanath Putta, Nigant means knots. Nat Putta means the son of a Nat family. He is also called as a Lord Mahavir. So, according to Nigantanath Putta or Lord Mahavir, there are four types of self-control. They are called as Sanyama or Sambara. This Lord Mahavir does not use water as far as possible, so that no creature living in are harmed, and he continuously engages in the annihilation of all these sins. And the theory which has been propounded by this Nigantanath Putta is called as Chatu Yam Sambara, restraint of the four, you can say, things, out of which the living creatures of the water is one of them. And even the Jainas who are moving on the road, they also put clothage on their mouth and the nose also. And whenever they move, they brush it, that so invisible insects may not be destroyed or they may not be killed. So this type of theory, Chatu Yam Sambara, has been developed in the, as a one of the school before the Buddha. So according to this Nikantanath Putta, that everything, a person who dies, having annihilated all his sins, he becomes absolutely free from committed sins and does not commit any sin in the future also, according to this theory. Thus, a knot, that is the Nikant, is protected by the four types of self-control that is called a Chatu Yama Sambara. That is why it is said that a Nikant is at least interested in worldly affairs and his mind and conducts are stable. This view is also known as Chatuyam Sambaravada. This thought is called as Chatuyam Sambar, or theory of the self-restrainment. The last teacher of the six contemporary teachers is Sanjay Bilakthi Putta. We have discussed Amra Bhikkhepavad, Sansayavad, or Kankhavad. That this is true, this is also not true. This is not true, this is also not true. There is no anything which comes whenever he is asked for anything. So it cannot be clearly stated if there is a reality of the afterlife or other world. According to this thought, one can also not clearly deny them. It cannot be clearly said that creatures unborn of body, that is the anupatic or ayonija, that the persons or the beings who have taken birth without the combination of mother and father, that is the anuijo or yonija, or else they both exist and do not exist at the same time. Similarly, one cannot assert if there happens fruition of the good or bad actions or the karma. If it can also not be ascertained if Tathagata, as who is a enlightened person, lives after death or not. That is why there were 10 abhyakat. Hoti tathagato param varnati va, no hoti tathagato param varnati va, hoti cha na hoti tathagato param marnati va nev hoti tathagato na cha hoti tathagato param marnati va. There were 4 questions related with the Tathagat also. That what happens when a Tathagat dies? Buddha did not answer these 4 questions. So this Sanjay Balathiput also says like this, that it cannot be ascent if Tathagat enlightened or died. What happens that? According to this school, it is said that all thoughts to, and whenever there is a dialogue between the Sanjay Balathiput to the Lord Buddha, so he presented in the form that I neither affirm nor it deny. First of all, as Sanjay Balathiput makes a discussion with the king Ajatasattu. And whenever questions were put by the king, he says that I neither affirm it nor deny it. Neither I say like this, nor I say otherwise. So this view is known as skepticism, anishchayvad, like this. So these are some of the 6 contemporary teachers or 6 schools of thought which have been discussed in the Samanya Phala Sutta. So let us stop here. If you have questions, you can ask me, or any doubt related with these our philosophical views before the Buddha, which are available in the 62 types of views available in as a false views in the Brahmajala Sutta, as well as 6 contemporary thinkers whose views have been discussed in the Samanya Phala Sutta. Any question, if you have, you can ask. I will send you the reading materials, and if you have 2500 years of Buddhism by P.G.E, published by Publication Division of Government of India, you can go through that how the religious background which has been discussed in the first chapter. So all these contemporary teachers have been given in a brief manner, or if you go through the text like Dignikaya, you can go through the translation of Dignikaya, that is the dialogues of the Buddha, in which the first sutta, that is the Brahmajala Sutta, as well as in Samanya Phala Sutta, which is the second sutta of Dignikaya, they are discussing all these views in a detailed manner. Okay, any question if you have? Kiko ya Yamada?
No, I have no question today. Thank you very much.
Okay. So in the next class, Rahul, do you have any question?
No question, Professor.
So in the next class, we will discuss in the next week about the philosophical development at the time of the Buddha. Today, we have discussed about only the 6 contemporary teachers, what were the philosophical views at the time of the Buddha. So we have discussed now how the philosophical views are developed. So in the next class, we will discuss. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, take care.